Welcome to the Ohh Show with Orlana Darkness Jury. In this episode, I will share information about a new breakthrough in mammogram screenings, and I'll be talking to national gospel recording artist Trini L. Massey about his upcoming gospel concert happening in the city of Pittsburgh next month. It's all happening on the Ohh Show with Orlana Darkness Jury. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Ohh Show with Orlana Darkins Jury, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our world, and the opportunity to learn things that make you say, oh. Myriad Genetics' latest survey reveals a major knowledge gap. Most women don't know that dense breast tissue may raise their cancer risk. Joining me to discuss how to bridge this gap and ensure women are equipped with the information that they need for early detection are OBGYN doctor Ife Nwastit, whose expertise includes minimally invasive surgery, adolescent medicine, and infertility. Dr. Stitt is also a national speaker on hereditary cancer testing. And joining me is breast cancer survivor Ashley Dedman, who has a deeply personal connection to breast cancer, having lost her great-grandmother, grandmother, and mother to the disease. Now a mother of two, she actively advocates for cancer awareness. Dr. Stitt and Ashley, welcome to the Ohh Show.
Hi there. How are you? Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
Dr. Stitt, we will start with you. Can you explain why breast density is an important factor in assessing breast cancer risk and how it complicates early detection efforts?
Absolutely. Happy to do so, and happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We are officially in October, and so we're at the very beginning of this month. So thank you for this really timely discussion. When we talk about breast density, we're not talking about what a person or a woman can look at, and what a woman can feel or see when she looks at the mirror. We're talking about specifically what we see on imaging, and specifically mammographic imaging. When you, with women who have dense breasts on mammogram, it appears white or lighter colored. And that contrasts with women who have more fatty breasts where it appears a little bit more dark. The issue with that is, so do cancers. Cancers or cancer precursors like calcifications and even tumors will also appear white on imaging. On imaging. So sometimes it makes it more difficult for the radiologist to interpret. Is this something that's benign, or is this something that actually is related to cancer? In addition, for women who have dense breasts, oftentimes these early cancers will form in these more obscured areas, in these more dense areas of the breast. So they are it's almost like hiding in plain sight. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for the radiologist to interpret. So it requires a little bit more nuance when you are discussing management of patients with dense breasts.
And so if you are getting your annual mammogram and the radiologist or your doctor says that you have density in your breast, what follow-up questions should someone ask?
That's where I think, one of the FDA just recently, as of September 30th, released a new requirement that now all patients need to be made aware of what their breast density is. And I tell my patients that this is something that providers have always known. It was always part of the report that your provider received, but now patients have the opportunity to be their own best advocate. Now, in most cases, when a woman has a mammogram, you don't leave with really any information. You have to wait for a letter in the mail that tells you this information. And once you get this information, then I certainly encourage my patients to go in and have a conversation with their OBGYN, their primary care provider, their family doctor, whoever orders their mammograms and follows their breast health appropriately. Because sometimes these patients may be they might be candidates for supplemental screening, such as MRIs or even ultrasounds. Another piece of the puzzle is utilizing the family history. to help the provider kind of triage. Is this a patient that actually needs to have a little bit more supplemental screening, or is this somebody that we can just kind of monitor with routine mammograms? And that's the biggest way. And the test that we particularly use is the MyRisk hereditary cancer test with risk score.
So speaking of annual breast exams, many women are hesitant about the necessity of regular breast health checks. What would you say to those who might be unsure about the importance of annual screenings?
I see this every single day. I think so many patients, just think that no news is good news and I'll just follow up when I get sick. And what I often tell patients, I'm like, breast cancer in this day and age is really something that's truly survivable. We're working on trying to prevent breast cancer in the first place, but if nothing else, it is absolutely survivable. Women do not have to die. You do not have, women like Ashley do not have to have the family histories that they have. And she's definitely an advocate to making sure that that's something that stops in future generations for her. But I tell patients that it takes more than just one imaging study to tell me whether you might need to have more supplemental screening. We have to have the opportunity to learn a woman's breast, and we have to have the opportunity to, see if there is, family history changes that will increase, the potential need for a patient to have additional testing that will tell us what we need to do. The MyRisk hereditary cancer test specifically is wonderful, and it's superior, in my opinion, because it's the first and only test that has been clinically validated to identify breast cancer risk in women of all ethnicities and ancestries. Historically, most of the studies that have been done in women. The genetic studies that have been done in women of European ancestry. So this is the first and only test that allows women of all ethnicities and all backgrounds to have a fair and equitable test done that will assess their particular risk for breast cancer.
So this next question is for Ashley. And Ashley, your story highlights the importance of genetic testing in understanding personal cancer risk. How did genetic testing play a role in your journey, and what peace of mind did it provide?
So yes, that's a great question. And it was really learning about my breast density and my BRCA2 mutation. This changed my standard of care. Genetic testing helped me to understand my personal risk for breast and other cancers, especially given my family history, as you shared earlier. But I witnessed firsthand my mother forgetting about her health, forgetting about her mammograms, rescheduling them, but life and so much just got in the way. And so you asked the question earlier about women who are hesitant about mammography, but that resulted in a stage 4 or metastatic breast cancer diagnosis, which she did not recover from. And so knowing that I carry a BRCA mutation, I began, and knowing that this information that I received through Myriad MyRisk, it provided me insight beyond what I could see or what I could feel. It gave me a roadmap to monitor and reduce my risk. And that was through early initiation to screening, through mammograms, which I had to get every 6 months. But I felt empowered because I knew that I was staying on top of my health, because I saw what my mother did not do. And I knew that I did not want to follow in those same footsteps as it related to mammography and her screening and her prevention. But it also helped me to make lifestyle changes. It also positioned me to make the tough decision to have a preventative double mastectomy after 10 years of increased surveillance, which I had at the age of 31. And finally, this information has allowed me to have open and ongoing conversations with my family and my daughters about their potential risk, so that they too can make important health decisions. It's also educating my daughters on the importance of them getting their mammograms, knowing that they have a family history, knowing that their mom carries a mutation. Their standard of care will and is going to look different. And I want them to know what that means.
This is very important information. And thank you so much for sharing your personal story. I want to go back to Dr. Stitt. um, Ashley mentioned, I'm sorry, you mentioned this new testing that is effective for all women. Is it available everywhere? Like, do doctors everywhere know of this?
Well, we're certainly working on that, but yes, it is available everywhere. And, it's just, and I think that this is where, patient advocacy, advocate for yourself. I have had patients who have come in, with their Myriad box and asked, hey, I would like to have this test done. Not only is it available, it is very well covered by many insurances. Part of the Affordable Care Act, has really kind of, made this, because it believes in preventive care, has made this really very well clinically available to patients. But yes, this is something that is absolutely available to any patient who wants to know. Certainly those patients with a strong family history, but even those patients who may have a limited family history. If you're maybe even adopted and you don't know what your family history is. There are so many opportunities, and I would strongly encourage a patient to go to getmyrisk.com to get some more information about it. But yes, this is something that you can be empowered to go and get information about for yourself.
Dr. Stitt, Ashley, thank you so much for sharing this information with us. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who watched and tuned in. This is Orlana Darkins-Drury with the Ohh Show. Thank you for tuning in. Keep shining. Stay tuned. Up next is my interview with Trini L. Massey. Welcome to the Ohh Show with Orlana Darkins-Drury, your connection to events, topical interests, issues, and the movers and shakers in our world, and the opportunity to learn things that make you say, oh. Today, I have the distinct honor of celebrating an incredible milestone with a man whose musical journey has touched hearts and lives both locally and globally. National recording artist Trini L. Massey has dedicated 30 years of his life to music ministry, serving churches and communities with a passion for gospel music that transcends boundaries. From his early beginnings at the age of 4, recognizing his gift as a calling from God, to leading choirs across the nation and ministering around the world in places like Italy, South America, and the Caribbean, Trini Massey's influence in gospel music is undeniable. He's gathering an extraordinary group of singers and musicians from some of the most notable choirs, including Northside Institutional Church of God of Christ, Mount Arab Baptist Church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Mass Choir, just to name a few. This celebration concert will happen on November 3rd at Mount Arab Baptist Church in Pittsburgh. This concert promises to be an unforgettable evening of praise, worship, and reflection on a journey that has spanned decades and touched countless lives. So joining me today as I dive into this powerful story of dedication and faith, we welcome Trini L. Massey to the Ohh Show.
Trini. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
So Trini, you began your musical journey at the young age of 4.
Yeah.
Can you take us back to that moment when you realized music was your divine calling? And what was it like growing up with such a gift?
So like, when you're a child, you don't know you can sing. You're just the radio's on, the record player's playing, you're singing music. And my Aunt Carolyn recognized that I could sing, and she would put me up on the table and have me sing Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, Sister Sledge's We Are Family. And I was like, and they would give me quarters and stuff when I would sing. So I was like, oh, okay, this what it takes. Let's do it. And then one day she asked me, she put up 2 records. She put up Michael Jackson's Off the Wall album and Walter Hawkins' Love Alive album. She said, which music do you want to sing? And I pointed to Walter Hawkins. And she was like, but you'll make more money on if you sing this music. And I said, but I like this music. I can feel this music. And I was at 4 and then started singing in the church, growing up, always the push to sing solos and push to sing. And at 7, I started playing. So the journey from there just went. Yeah.
Wow. But as a kid, was there pressure to sing or did you enjoy it?
I actually enjoyed it. Like, I love to sing. Singing was like an escape for me. I had imaginary choirs, all kinds of stuff when I was a kid. When the record would be playing, I would be singing. But now there were times where I did not want to sing by myself. Like, so I always had my cousin Natalie always sing with me or something, or I would cry, or my mom would walk up in front of the aisle of the church and stand beside me like, sing. I'm thinking she's coming to rescue me so I don't have to sing.
Right.
She's coming to force me to sing. So there was, I enjoyed it, but I wanted to do it on my terms. People make me nervous. Yeah.
All right. I understand. That's great. So as I said in your intro, you've led music ministries in various churches across the denominations.
Mm-hmm.
How did that experience shape your understanding of gospel music's universal nature, and how did you integrate that in your ministry today?
Wow. And so I'm a product of the Church of God in Christ, which is a Pentecostal set, of course, and the Baptist church. So the Baptist church taught me like structure with music. So my hymns, my anthems, spirituals, traditional gospel music. So all the way from James Cleveland up. And then, of course, the Church of God in Christ was more, I'm going to say progressive, not in a negative connotation towards the Baptist church, but they pushed me to learn about the Clark sisters, the Hawkins family, all the choral music. And so choir, the Tommy Whitfield, Richard Smallwood. So it was the heritage of the Church of God in Christ pushed me to even want to be great on that side. And it started shaping what I like to hear. I started noticing that, while I enjoy groups, the whinings and commission choir was where my heartbeat was. I could feel it. It just felt like that was where I needed to be, felt home.
So I'm going to ask you to move closer to your mic as well, just so
I'm too far.
I
had these on. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I need you louder. All right, cool.
Got it. Speak up, Trina.
I'm like, this is good stuff. I want to hear.
I want to hear it.
So we shared at the top that you have an upcoming concert that's gathering musicians and singers from all over. I stated you have choirs from Northside Institutional, Church of God in Christ, and Mount Arab Baptist Church. Share the list of the choirs and any special singers that we can expect to see.
Okay, great. So I've been the minister of music of 4 churches in the city of Pittsburgh. My home church, Northside Institutional Church of God in Christ, Cornerstone Baptist Church, Deliverance, Mount Arab. Oh, that's 5 actually in Pentecostal Temple. So 5 churches, and then 4 community choirs: Pittsburgh Mass, Pittsburgh Love Outreach, and Quarter Class. And so all of those choirs are coming together as one to celebrate, in decades, yikes, 30 years of music. I moved to the city as a teenager and was the minister of music at Cornerstone. I used to travel back and forth up the highway every Friday to be here for the weekend and leave right after church and go back home. So they'll all be coming together. I have special guests that are coming from all over the nation, some surprise guests. And so I want to keep the surprise as a surprise.
Okay. Not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned as a teenager, you were directing choirs. How was that as a young person? You're directing adults to get their part right.
Oh, man. So I've had great training because in my home church, when we were living in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, my family was in the choir. And so I had to tell them what to sing at 11 and 12 and 13 and 14. One time my aunt wasn't singing the right part, and she got mad because I told her she wasn't singing the whole part. And she started talking back. I said, get out. And I put her out in the rehearsal. And she thought that my grandmother and my aunts and stuff were going to defend her. And they were like, you ain't listening. He's in charge. And so I said that to say that in every choir, as coming up as a teenager, as a kid, I had a great core of elders that always held my back and kept the people alive and made them respect my gift and respect me. And then it was just I just literally I always had mothers and spiritual fathers that guarded me and guided me. So it was easy. Yeah. It was weird at first, but hey, I like to be in charge. At that time. Now I'm like, oh.
But you figure that is good training, because if you could get your family to listen to you and you're
Right.
this little Trini.
That part. You understand, right? You get it. They're the ones saying, listen, you ain't telling me what to do.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
God.
That is good boot camp training.
Right.
So your upcoming concert, as we mentioned, is gathering musicians and singers. You mentioned all the choirs. We have special surprise guests that you want as surprise. What can attendees expect from this powerful gathering of talent?
Oh, wow. We're going to take a journey. We're going to take a journey through the churches that I worked for or ministered at. Songs that were made popular there. Some of these churches were places where I was able to start trying out or testing my writing skill on them. So they sang some of my real ABC songs from back in the day. So we're going to pull some of those back out. We're going to take the journey. The journey will probably start maybe late 80s, and we're going to go all the way to 2024. So original material. We're going to do some Hawkins, of course. We'll do some Tommys. We'll do some church classics. But then the bulk of the concert will be original material that people probably don't even know I wrote. That the people singing all over the country.
Mention that. I was going to say that there are songs that you have written or rearranged that choirs and artists are singing that even for myself, I'm like, wait, I know him. And you're like real low key about it. But are you able to share a few that you've either rearranged or wrote that we may know?
Definitely. Great Is Our Faithfulness is currently on Charles Butler and Trinity's project. And it actually was nominated. It was in the running to be nominated for a Grammy. Let's see. I Can Call on Jesus by Arkansas Mass, More Than Enough, Able with James Moore, Psalm of Worship with Bishop Brian Moore, and the list goes. Yeah, I should have written this stuff down before I got on there. But there are countless artists. And of course, our own church choir, we have 2 projects out with 1 million of my songs on there. Forever, Just Think of His Goodness, I Won't Forget, Glory to God. The anthem Praise Ye, O Lord is actually getting ready to be recorded by a choir. And I guess I don't know if I could tell that, but okay. But yeah, so I have some things in the making. We, myself and Travis Malloy wrote a song for Zacardi Cortez that reached 1 million streams. We might be on our way to almost 2 million streams on Spotify, on the streaming network. So it's called Do It For Me. So yeah, it's going well. Yeah, but my thing is, when God gives you the gift, it's not to make your name great. While He does it in the process, it's really to minister to the hearts of the people that God allows you to touch. So it's an honor. So it's not like you never share. Like, you're one of the people. You never tell us what's going on. I got to find out. You got to tell me. I'm like, it's really, no, I'm low key with that kind of stuff. Because at the end of the day, what matters is that the hearts of people and their lives are being challenged, touched, blessed by whatever God allows to be deposited in you. So, yeah.
Now, you've also had the opportunity to minister globally, from Italy to South America, and even with the United States Air Force, which I thought was interesting. How has spreading gospel music across the world or around the world enriched your perspective on ministry?
It makes you appreciate what we take for granted. When you go to places like Europe, like I've been all over Europe, all over Italy, South America, the Caribbean, they always, the comment is, we want what you all have. Like, and I watch us back home take what we have for granted, right? It enlarges your perspective, and it kind of makes you feel, I can, the word I want to say, I can relate to Paul. When Paul is writing his letter to different churches, and he said, when you talk to so-and-so, greet so-and-so, and tell so-and-so, you start building community and family, which enlarges you, which you see the hand of God moving, and people don't even know the language, but they can feel His presence. So it's like, man, this thing is bigger. It's bigger than I even thought. It's bigger than us being in 4 walls of the church. The power of God transcending even their knowledge of what they're singing, but because they're lifting his name, he's honoring their heart. Oh, Orlando, man, that's about to make me cry now. You watch lives be changed. It's like, and God, you allowed me to be a part of this. I've been able to see the world for free, because God sent me these places. So yeah, it's made me appreciate what we have, and it's made me push people that I need to always strive for excellence and never take it for granted, because somebody else really wants what we have. So yeah.
You founded For the Cause of Christ in 2007, bringing together singers from multiple states.
Mhm.
What inspired you to create this ensemble, and what has been the most rewarding aspects of leading such a group?
Man, for the cause came out of, I had been leading Pittsburgh Love Outreach, and they were mass choirs. And at one point in the industry, mass choirs were no longer popular because they didn't want to move the bodies. And so it was a business move, I thought, to streamline down and just pick 10 to 15, 10 singers from each section that were all leads or all strong part holders, and shape them into an ensemble. And so with that, I've watched I think you said, was the most rewarding part?
Yes.
What was the most rewarding part for me has been to watch those that I've shaped that have come under ministry go on to lead their own ministries and become ministers of music and worship leaders and preachers and evangelists, and then start walking in their call. It's like, wow, I remember when we were in rehearsal and you were scared to pray, and now you're praying heaven down. Or I remember you were afraid to open up your mouth and sing, and now you're being called all over the world to sing. So that's been very rewarding, just watching people come into what God has for them, and them saying, but you push me, and thank you for pushing me. So it's like, no, he did it. I was just, let's go, let's get this done. You can do it. Yeah.
Looking ahead, what are your hopes and visions for this next chapter of ministry? You're celebrating 30 years. So what are your hopes and visions for the next chapter of ministry?
My next chapter of ministry, somebody just asked me, they said, what will you do? And I said, I'll always do worship. I'll always do music ministry, no matter what. I believe I'm going to hit the mega millions very, very soon. I don't play. But I feel like when it's time for me to play, heaven's going to download the numbers. I say that to say, I really want to do philanthropic work. I really want to give to causes, support causes that are going to impact humankind in a positive way. That's one of the major things that has really been on my heart. So I've been asking God, okay, I know you well enough to know that when you place something there, it means this is where I'm growing. There are some books I want to write. Definitely consulting churches and helping them build their teams to be effective. Because what I'm finding out is, while these people are gifted, a lot of them just don't know. They don't have a mentor to help kind of guide and shape and say, no, don't do that, but you can do this. So more of that, master classes, and just asking God what's next. I'm open, of course, writing, maybe release a CD. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm open. I told God I'm open.
So again, you're celebrating 30 years, music and ministry. What was the motivation to do the concert?
My choir member screaming at me. Oh, no, I'll joke with that. I had felt the pull to bring everybody back together during the pandemic, right? I started feeling God's hand and I was like, oh, it's going to be so much work. It's going to be so much work. And then earlier, maybe late 2023, going into 2024, one of my choir members, and I call her my sister, we started singing together as teenagers. And she said, brother, we need to do a concert. And I was like, I knew that it was God. I said, Angel, if this is what you feel the God's telling you to do, I want you to know that it's already been my heart and you're the push I needed. If you will help Jared, I'll definitely do it. And she brought in there. We got the committee together. And so here we are. That's what pushed it.
All right. So give us the details of the concert and where we go to buy tickets, so people can attend and see what 30 years of music and ministry looks like through the eyes of Trini L. Massey.
Okay, cool. So the actual concert is November 3rd at 5 o'clock at the Mount Airy Baptist Church in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 271 Paulson Avenue on Pittsburgh's east side or East Liberty section, where the Reverend Dr. William H. Curtis is the pastor. You can purchase tickets there on the church's website at www.mt-ararat.org, and there'll be a link there that'll have the concert. You press that link, it'll take you right to ticket slides to be able to purchase your ticket. What else did you ask me? I'm not, it's been 30 years, so my mind don't look like it used to.
I think you answered the questions. You told us where,
what time. Cool. I did good there.
So again, this is Trini L. Massey celebrating 30 years of music and ministry. Is happening November
3rd.
November 3rd at 5 p.m. at Mount Airy Baptist Church, 271 Holston Avenue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Tickets are available on the church's website. The 3 W's, www.mountarat.org. That's mt-arat.org. There's 2 parking lots, one in the front, one in the back. There's street parking.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about that. Trini Massey, national recording artist. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I'm so honored that you have me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the love, the push, and the support. Thank you so much. Much success to you.
Thank you all for tuning in to the Ohh Show with Orlana Darkins Jury. Until next time, keep shining.